All right, here we go. We are rolling. It is time for another episode of Kash's Top 5. I have a very fun one today. I believe the first one ever in person. I've got Britt Baker here joining me. How's it going, Britt?
What's up? Good to see you.
You as well. We have a very fun one today. We're going to go off the rails. We're just going to say that now. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about
Buckle up.
Everything.
Yeah.
The structure, we're going to rank our top 5 end-of-life stats, the things we want to know when we die, like the statistics of your life. What would you want to find out before you're gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then whatever else we end up talking about is going to come from that, but that's going to be our starting point.
Yeah, it could be a 2-hour conversation, but we'll start with the stats first so we get that one out of the way at least. You want to go first or should I?
Start us off. What do you got at number 5?
Number 5. You know, I worked in TV for a long time, was getting up at like 2 a.m. Now I've got 4 kids, so still early mornings. I would like to know, in my lifetime, how much coffee have I consumed? And maybe even just caffeine in general, because sometimes, you know, I walked in here with a Dr. Pepper this morning, but I already had 2 cups of coffee.
So you're ready to go.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
curious to know, like in gallons.
So there's quite a few things you could want to know from that, though. Gallons of coffee, how much time you spent in between the snooze alarm, like how many hours that added up to,
like how many minutes, hours hitting snooze,
and then just laying there waiting for the next snooze alarm to go off.
Yeah.
Or the percentage. How many days did you wake up without an alarm versus with an alarm?
Yeah, there's a lot to that one. I don't know. I think I've only really overslept an alarm or like not woken up. Like, I think I could count on one hand.
You don't hit snooze? You're not a snoozer?
No, I mean, I hit snooze, but I'm saying like times that I've like turned it off on accident and
just
overslept.
Completely overslept. I got you. Okay,
but I mean, I did hit snooze. Like I slept in like an extra 30 minutes today.
And it's the best sleep in the world. The sleep you're not supposed to be getting is the best.
It can be. If you don't have like a dog that's like wants to go out, or like a husband that as soon as like I turn over, he like is like, you know, it's nice to be held, but I'm like, dude, I want to go back to sleep for like 10 more minutes.
Yeah, if you could just leave me alone, that'd be great. Well, you meant like 4 kids. Oof, that's a lot. That's a lot. So coffee's at number 5.
Yeah.
Caffeine intake. Mine aren't really in any kind of particular order. They're all ranked like tied for number 1 because these are the things I really, really want to know.
Yeah.
But we'll go in order. My number 5 is I want to know how many photos I'm in of strangers that I don't know, but I'm just in the background of their photo.
I didn't think of that one.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's more than you would think because of all the photos that are taken now. Like, think of all the concerts I've been to, sporting events, nights out at the bars, and it's a group shot or whatever. I bet I'm in the background of quite a few.
Of so many. Yeah, because they're like, I've got pictures at like basketball games, football games, concerts, and I'm like, oh, those people in the back are like having a great time, or they're like totally out of it, whatever. But they have no idea. That is interesting to think about.
Well,
how many?
What made me think of that is there was a news story. I don't know. There's probably several of these stories, but one of them in particular, a married couple, like they'd been married a few years, I don't know, 5-7 years, and they were going through old photo albums, and they found an old vacation picture, and he was in the background of her photo.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen that.
Yeah.
When they were like kids?
When they were kids.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my God, that's me in your photo.
Nuts.
Like, seriously, what are the odds of that? It's astronomical.
I know.
That would, not only were they in a random shot together, and then 20 years later, they're married.
Yeah, but that also is like one of those things that makes me believe in like fate and destiny and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or just a small world. I don't know. But if they were on vacation somewhere else and they're like from 2 different places. I've also heard a story where people like grew up like neighbors or something and then separated and then they like met again.
And didn't realize that they grew up
didn't
next
realize
door.
Until they had like a picture like together or something.
Like, I know that
That's
house.
Wild, yeah.
All right, what do you got at number 4?
Number 4. I've censored myself a lot because of my, you know, working in TV and stuff like that. But I've stubbed my toe a lot. So I would like to know how many times I've cursed.
Just in general?
Just in general, yeah. Like, how many curse words have I said
I'd only want to know.
in a lifetime?
I'd want to know the main one.
And, like, why?
Like, I want to know how many times I let the F-bomb go. The others, I mean, we're talking in the millions, but you stub your toe a lot. That's what made you think of, I wonder how many times you've cussed.
I legit have, like, a piece of my, I don't want to say a piece of my toe missing, but I, like, opened. Sorry, this is good. I can't exactly sell pictures of my feet right now if I wanted to.
Oh, there's a crowd for it. Whatever you got going
I'm
on,
just kidding.
There's an audience.
I, like, opened the garage door, and it was early or late. I don't know. I was out of it, and I opened it, like, directly on my freaking toe.
Ugh.
And I dropped a few bombs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't cry, but I was bleeding, and my husband had to come. I was, like, sitting on the floor. It was pretty bad. But I cussed quite a few times.
Do you think you're in, like, the 5 figures, the 6 figures?
Ooh.
And I say that because I feel like I've sworn a lot in my life. Being in radio and then now being a teacher, it's been censorship city. But
yeah. Oh, gosh, I don't know. Because now that I don't have to censor myself as much anymore, but I have kids. So it's like, how many more times am I going to cuss?
it depends on what kind of mom you are. Some moms don't care. They just let it fly. Like, this is my house.
Yeah.
This is my house. I'm going to say what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then others, don't. I remember I had to deal with my mom. Like, as soon as, like, the day I turned 18, I was allowed to say whatever I wanted. But
Really?
I had to watch what I said until I turned 18. And then it still took a few years because it felt weird. And then at some point, I don't know, life happens and you don't feel like a kid anymore, and you're just like, ugh.
I feel like compared to other people, it probably won't be a lot.
All right. So I've got a lot more on you.
I don't know.
I probably do.
Have you heard me cuss?
A time or two. Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard you. Maybe I have. It's just so weird because we're always like this. Like, are we even going to cuss now? Like, so you put it on the internet, you can say whatever you want. But like, as a professional working in broadcast, we were never able to do that. So it's like, and then it's like in the back of your mind, like you censor yourself.
I guess it depends on how worked up we get. If we get really upset about something, maybe.
I think it's mostly when I stub my toe.
That's it? All right.
Or when I injure myself, or when the dog does something.
Okay.
Anyway, what's your next one?
My number 4 for you is I want to know, and this is kind of like a top 5 of a top 5.
Okay.
So I kind of want to know the top 5 photos I was in.
Yeah.
I want to know the top 5 times where I almost died. Like, how close was I?
Have you almost died 5 times?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know if I've almost died. It's possible. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. When I was little, I was like a toddler, so I don't really remember it. I went underwater in the pool, and one of the other kids at the babysitter like snacked me up and got me out of there. So
that's terrifying.
I don't know how long I was underwater. It seems like he was like right there to get me. Because again, I don't remember it, but maybe I was close to death, and maybe you were like, here's another one. I was driving home from Ball State, so I was on I-69 South coming home to Indy. Really bad snowstorm, and I'm driving along, and then all of a sudden, I'm in the right lane, and there's a car coming down, barreling down. It's like a white Camaro or Corvette or something. It's like a white sports car.
In the snow.
Whoa. And he into my lane, over into the grass median, and then like spun around. Like, I drove right by that. I want to know the top 5 close calls. Maybe I've almost died several times and I had no idea.
See, I think that's something I don't want to know.
You don't want to know?
I don't think I want to know that.
But by the time, this is when you die.
I know.
So wouldn't you, just out of curiosity, you wouldn't want to know? Like, I wouldn't want to know now and then live the rest of my life.
Yeah, I think that's
because I would be thinking about that a lot. But if I'm dead, I want to no. How close was I with how close were my brushes with death?
I don't know. Well, I mean, what can you really be scared of if you're dying anyway?
Exactly. And that's gonna lead more into what I've got next for you, because
morbid
stuff you don't want to know. All right, number 3. What do you got?
All right, number 3. I would just like to know how many words I've said in my whole lifetime. I was spoke as a profession for 15 years. That was like my actual job. You've been on radio for so many years as your job, speaking. How many words have we said? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like the number would be so high, I wouldn't be that impressed with it. Does that make sense? Because we've probably said, what, billions of words?
That's not surprising kind of a thing. I don't know.
I would want to know, what's the longest I went without talking?
Actually, I'm curious about that. What's the longest I've gone without saying something?
Because sometimes you're like either working on something in the living room or you're driving somewhere by yourself. I've been, single, no kids. I don't have kids babbling at me. I don't have a spouse. I can go without talking to anybody for a while. And I don't know that's probably not the average for most people.
I'm going to say, I don't know if I've gone like a whole half hour without saying something.
See,
because I talk to
myself.
I talk to myself. You don't talk to yourself?
No. I think to myself a lot.
I say stuff out loud.
I don't talk out loud. No.
I like react to myself.
Do you really?
Like, why did I put that? I don't know.
So you do characters while you talk to yourself?
Sometimes.
Now, see, that would be more fun. I don't think I would ever do that, though. But I guarantee you there's at least a day I've gone without talking.
Yeah.
That's got to be rare.
I mumble something.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? Where'd I put that thing? I'm hungry. Like, you know what I mean? Just like I'll say random things. All right. What's yours? Next one.
I want to know the top 5 meals I've had.
Ooh.
Like slices of pizza or salads or burgers or chicken or whatever it is.
Like how much you've eaten of something?
Well, what are the top 5 I had the most of?
Gotcha.
Like I know I've only had pasta primavera like once or twice, so that's not going to be in the top 5. I've had a lot of pizza in my day, so I know that's probably going to be near the top. For my meals, what are the top 5 things I've eaten in my lifetime?
If you had to guess, what would it be right now? Like, what do you think you've eaten the most of?
Probably chicken in some form.
Yeah.
Now, if I have to like divvy it up, like between eggs, deviled eggs, chicken salad, fried chicken, chicken sandwich, like if you add all that together, then yeah, that's probably number 1. But yeah, sandwiches for sure, like turkey sandwiches, paninis, PB&J. I feel like that's kind of got to be up there too.
Recently, I feel like I eat a lot of spaghetti and meatballs.
A lot of spaghetti and meatballs?
A lot of spaghetti and meatballs because all the kids like it.
It's so easy too.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
All the kids will eat it. Like, I've got 4 kids, so sometimes one will want something and the other one won't. And like, that's like the one thing that they'll all eat, or pizza.
Yeah.
Or like hamburgers. So we've eaten like a lot of pizza and spaghetti and meatballs. So I feel like that's gone up quite a bit for me since having so many kids.
It's gotten real Italian in your house.
Yeah.
Well, spaghetti is it's easy, it's inexpensive, and it lasts. Like you can have spaghetti for a couple of days.
There's also less to clean up. Because I can't leave like a messy kitchen when I cook something. Like I have to clean it up right away. And there's just less to clean up.
That's fair. And I, again, as a single guy, I don't really think about that. Because like when I cook, like I was telling you, I do New Year's with my brother and his family and stuff. And I'll go over to my folks' house and I'll make stuff. And there's just pots and pans and stuff everywhere that it's just Tasmanian devil in the kitchen. Just because there's just so much stuff to use.
Multitasking too when you're like cooking for a lot of people, and there's like a lot of things that it's crazy. It's crazy in there.
So yeah, that was my 3 top 5 meals. What do you got at number 2?
Number 2. I would like to know how much, and I'm not sure if this is like it could be in weight or in length, but how much hair I have shaved off or waxed off. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Your hair, there are a few things on your body that grow your entire life. Hair and nails, they never stop growing. So how many fingernail clippings have you had in your whole life? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, but I'm thinking hair.
Well,
There's
just
got to be
dead cells. So like nails and hair.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say how much like skin have I shed, like dead skin.
Or that. How many individual brows have you bladed?
Oh gosh.
Right? Like that's something that's not really knowable, but it'd be cool to know how.
As of right now, I mean, it's in the thousands.
Sure. Of course. Easy.
Yeah, but that's not probably something I'm going to be doing the rest of my life. I'm not going to be doing brows on like 70. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm going to be cutting my hair and trimming my nails.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
It's going to keep adding up. No, I know.
Stuff to think.
I know.
Hair shed. Yeah. I thought, so we did, the first top 5 we did was top 5 grossest things. Mm-hmm. So I thought you were going to have like, how many boogers have I, like.
I hate boogers,
how many
dude.
snot rockets have I had?
Boogers gross me out so bad. Like,
well, yeah.
That's like the very few things can make me gag. Like actually, like I have no control over it.
Really?
Yeah, but that's one of those things. My son, I've got 3 girls and 1 boy. Boys are very different.
I've heard they're the worst.
He'll just in his mouth.
Ugh.
And I'll be like, ugh. Oh God.
Do you do like the sucking the snot thing as the mom? Do you have to do that?
Oh, I've done that, but they're like, they won't let me do that anymore. They blow their nose now.
That's good.
Thankfully they do that now. Because that thing where you stick the thing in the nose and you suck.
Uh-huh. So yeah, that's why I thought it was going to get gross. All right. My number 2 for you. And this is something it'll fall in the camp of you may not want to know. But I want to know the top 5 crushes that somebody had on me that I had no idea.
That you didn't know about?
Top 5 chicks that were into me and I had no idea. I would want to know.
That's a good one to want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious, like, you know what I mean? Because could have no idea. It could be somebody that you don't even know exists.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's more probably common for you. Somebody who's been on TV and strangers have watched you. That came out worse than it sounded. Just people, not like through your window, but like watching you on TV. But no, top 5, and that's something that I would probably want to know now. Like, yeah, I want to know now. But when I die, like, oh man, really? That was a thing. I never picked up on the signal.
Yeah, but then you would be like, oh, regret, and then you die.
Well, I mean, this is kind of like purgatory. Like, you're already dead, and we're finding this stuff out, and then it's the afterlife.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, I should have done that. I don't want to feel like that.
I don't know. I kind of want to know. It's morbid curiosity. Like, I really want to know. Anyway, that's my number 2.
Number 2. Okay, so number 1.
This is the number 1 thing you want to know.
I would like to know how many times, because I like making people laugh, making people happy. I would like to know how many times I've made somebody laugh or smile, and or cheered somebody up.
Because
that would make me feel better about myself. So selfishly, I guess.
This is so different than the first top 5 we did.
I know.
This is so much more wholesome.
I know.
How many times did I make somebody smile?
Yeah, the last one we were talking about like bidets and like foot peels. Those are awesome still, by the way. All those disgusting but awesome still.
That's what it was. Disgusting but awesome. That's
disgusting
what it was.
But awesome.
It wasn't just top 5 gross things. That's right.
Yeah, but you had some pretty gross ones that I didn't think were awesome.
Men and women, differences. But that's a good one. I would want to know that. I'd want to know how many smiles I caused, how many laughs I got.
Yeah. Well, because I'll sit there and I don't like to doom scroll or anything, but sometimes I will find myself looking at pictures on Facebook, like old friends, like their kids or something. I could have never talked to these people in like the last 10 years, but then I see a cute picture or I see something funny or like see somebody else being happy and I'm just scrolling and I'll catch myself like, oh, like, oh, it's like cute. I'm smiling. It warms my heart. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh. And they have no idea because it's just like, oh, I posted this picture or this video or something. But literally, I'm just like, oh, I'm liking your picture because I'm actually smiling. You know?
I've had the opposite feeling sometimes. Like, I'll see that, I'm like, I hate this.
Another picture of the kids.
I hate these people. They're too happy.
Their offspring.
I'm in a bad mood. They should be in a bad mood, too. All right. My number one. So, I wanted to go with top 5 movies I've seen.
Uh-huh.
Like, what are the top 5 I watched the most? Like, how many times did I watch Tommy Boy? I know that's probably in the number 1 spot. Mm-hmm. I want to know how much money I made, to the dollar, to the cent. Just curious. All the money I've like earned through wages, through a job, through cutting lawns, through birthday money, through found dollars on the street, all the legal tender that I have accrued in my life. I want to know the total number.
I actually would want to know that too. And then I'm curious, but I know it would also make me feel bad.
How much you spent?
How much I paid in taxes.
Oh, yeah. That's the adult argument. I always say that's when you know you're an adult, is like, what would you do with $1 million? And then somebody's like, well, is that before tax or after tax? I'm like, just shut up and just say, what would you do with $1 million?
Yeah.
But that's a real adult thing, though, is to consider, like, how much did I actually spend on that? Or how much was I taxed? How much did I waste on stuff that I threw away? You know, like, even like lettuce or salad kits that went gross.
Yeah, those get wasted the most. The salad kits.
So, and I'm always like, it's so much cheaper to just get a head of lettuce and do this and do that and do that. But then that doesn't last very long. So you're like, I'm just going to get a kit because that can just be my lunch for that day. They still go brown, man. Yeah. It's not good.
Or you could be like me and say, oh, I'm going to do a garden and grow my own food, and then you're like, wow, I don't eat this many tomatoes. There are way too many tomatoes. I don't need this many jalapenos. I gave away so many jalapenos to like my neighbors and stuff.
I was gonna say, people I know that have gardens, they grow way too much for them, and they can't even give them away.
And then nobody feel like it's wasting it, and I'm like, oh, I grew this stuff, and now.
It's not really, it's wasting it, I think, if you buy it from the store and it just goes bad.
Yeah, but I also feel like growing it and then not using it is, I don't know.
Think of all the cornfields that they raise up just to let them rot back down, the fallow or whatever. That feels more wasteful than what you're describing.
That's true.
Anything not quite make your list for things you want to know?
Oh. I don't know. I kind of want to know one of the things that didn't make the top 5, but I'm just curious to know how many hours of my life I spent laughing.
That's kind of related to your number 1. It's like adjacent. How many laughs did you get? How many smiles did you get? But also,
how much did I?
Time spent, the duration spent of laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Well, I hope we don't die anytime soon. That's another thing that I thought of. Like, I don't. Would you want to know when you're going to die?
No. Anybody who says that they do, I think they're lying. I think they're lying. There's no way. I don't want to know the age. I don't want to know the location. I don't want to know the day, time. Like, if you told me it's going to be September 6th, I don't want to know that.
No. I feel like the only people that want to know that is so that they could try and avoid it. They could try and avoid it, or they could get their whole bucket list out of the way first, or...
I smell a screenplay. I feel like we should make this movie. A guy finds out he's going to die on a certain day, and so he does certain things on that day to avoid it being that day.
Okay, now you have to cut this out so nobody takes that idea.
Don't take that, anybody. Patent pending, if you can do that. I don't know. Copyright pending.
This is going to be dated, so.
All right, well, good job on the top 5. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, I mean, we're going to keep rolling, but we're going to sign off on this and then start again.
Well, that's it for the top 5, folks.
Peace.